You are watching The Story. Every Monday, we bring you a deep dive into the fascinating lives of incredible people. How billionaire Peter Thiel wants to cheat death. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. As Benjamin Franklin once said, nothing is certain in life except death and taxes. But the person we're talking about today isn't so sure. What would you do if you had billions of dollars and all of life's possibilities before you? Well, if you're Peter Thiel, you try to make life last as long as possible. When asked about how he felt about death once, Peter said, "Basically, I'm against it." So today, we're going to look into the unbelievable story of how this billionaire entrepreneur and investor wants to cheat death. But first, let's look at the big picture. Who is Peter Thiel? Peter Thiel has two main claims to fame. He co-founded PayPal, and he was the first outside investor in Facebook. That would explain his $2.5 billion net worth, but he has definitely not just sat back and enjoyed the life of luxury. After PayPal was sold to eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion, he founded a global hedge fund called Clarium Capital and a big data analysis firm called Palantir Technologies. He also started a venture capital firm called Founders Fund in 2005 and Valor Ventures in 2010. He sold his 10.2% stake in Facebook that he had purchased for $500,000 for over $1 billion back in 2012. But he's still a significant part of Facebook as a member of the board. Through his Thiel Foundation, he funds nonprofit research and grants. But how did one of the greatest tech investors of all time become obsessed with cheating death? For that, let's go back to the beginning. Beginnings. Peter distinctly remembers that when he was 3 years old, he was sitting on a cowhide rug at his family's apartment in Cleveland. He innocently asked his father where the rug had come from, and his father told him it was from a cow that died. He asked his father what that meant, and he went on to explain that everybody dies, all animals and all people. Thiel says he recalls that as being a very, very disturbing day, and ever since then, the reality of death has never been far from his thoughts. Throughout his time as a prominent figure in the tech world, Peter has been viewed as a problem solver, and he eventually came to view death as just one more problem needing to be solved, although any possible solution evaded him for many years. He focused on creating a successful business with 3 of his colleagues beginning in December 1998, and after Elon Musk entered the picture in March 2000, PayPal began to grow rapidly as a money transfer business. When PayPal was sold to eBay in July 2002, Peter's cut was $55 million. This was combined with profits from his very lucrative investments. Suddenly, he had more resources at his disposal than ever before. So, what did he decide to focus on with practically every door open to him? The vision. Peter's vision is simple yet mind-blowing. He wants to solve the problem of death. His personal vision is to live as long as possible, and he expects to live at least to the age of 120. The way he intends to do this is by strategically investing his money in companies and individuals who are exploring innovative concepts that may lead to increased lifespans and the reversal of the aging process. It's an ambitious goal, no doubt, and not everyone believes in his vision. The struggle. From the beginning, Peter's ideas on cheating death have been mocked, dismissed, and discounted. After all, how arrogant must a man be to think he can overcome the fate that all humankind has faced from the beginning of time? And then there are the practical issues of immortality. What about overpopulation, the lack of sufficient resources to support longer life expectancies, the societal impact of it all? Peter's response to these concerns is that these are just more problems that will need to be solved, but no matter the consequences, he would rather face these problems than death itself. Others suggest that prolonging life will just result in people becoming bored or losing the sense of urgency that the idea of death naturally encourages. But Peter thinks it will have the opposite effect. He says that so often people don't pursue certain goals because they don't think they have enough time to achieve them. He points to his uncle, who at 84 years of age, told him that if he had known he was going to live this long, he would have gone back to school to get his PhD. Peter also acknowledges there will never be a miracle cure or a magic pill developed overnight. Instead, he's relying on a gradual and progressively increasing flow of scientific discovery and progress. He claims that there are 3 possible responses to death. You can accept it, deny it, or fight it. Despite all of the obstacles, criticisms, and doubts standing in his way, he's chosen to fight it. But how exactly do you go about fighting death? The win. In 2005, Thiel helped create Founders Fund. Through this San Francisco-based venture capital fund, Thiel and his partners have made a number of profitable early investments in companies like Airbnb, LinkedIn, Yelp, Spotify, and SpaceX. The fund also purchased $15 to $20 million in Bitcoin back in 2017. In addition to these successful ventures, Peter has also used the fund to invest in projects that are personally of interest to him. In particular, those that are focused on reversing the aging process and prolonging life. His first major contribution in this arena came in 2006, when he donated $3.5 million to the Methuselah Foundation to fund anti-aging research, and in particular, the work of Dr. Aubrey de Grey, who famously proclaimed that the first person who would live to be 1,000 has already been born. In the years since, he's donated over $7 million to the foundation. In 2010, one of his partners at the Founders Fund told him about a biotech startup called Halcyon that was focused on creating a way to read complete DNA sequences of the human genome through the use of an electron microscope. This would allow doctors to quickly discover everything about a person's genetic makeup, and the technology could eventually be used to identify and reverse genetic disorders. Thiel decided that Founders Fund would be Halcyon's first outside investor. They asked for $50,000, and he gave them $500,000. Peter has also invested in another company that is focused on developing liquid computers, made up of hundreds of molecules that can understand basic information. Theoretically, these liquid computers would be able to shut down cells carrying viral diseases, completely curing those infected. The project is in its early stages, but Peter sees the potential. He's also heavily invested in Stemcentrx, a company that's exploring ways to use stem cell technology to cure cancer. He believes both cancer and Alzheimer's will be cured in the next 20 years, and this alone would have a significant impact on life expectancy. In 2011, he formed a special fund as part of the Thiel Foundation called Breakout Labs that's dedicated to supporting radical science companies. Through his fund, he offers grants of up to $500,000 each. If the funds are eventually raised by the company, then the grants are exchanged for equity. Thiel has provided funding to over 30 science-based startups since 2012 with this fund, in addition to those he supports through the Founders Fund and personal donations. Thiel has also taken some other steps to ensure he lives as long as possible. He regularly takes human growth hormone pills to help him maintain muscle mass, prevent arthritis, and bone injuries. He's interested in parabiosis, which involves an older person receiving a blood transfusion with the blood from a younger person. He found that there was a study that showed this had major rejuvenating effects when done with mice. This treatment costs about $40,000 and is recommended every 3 months. He also has a backup plan if all else fails, and that is cryogenics. He has already reserved his spot with the Alcor Life Extension Foundation to be preserved indefinitely at -360 degrees in hopes he would eventually be brought back to life. This costs a minimum of $200,000 in addition to an annual fee of $600. Build up. Peter is not the only billionaire who's trying to cheat death. He is a part of a movement that he helped popularize among tech billionaires in particular, who all want to live longer. Co-founder of Oracle, Larry Ellison, has given more than $430 million to support anti-aging research. In 2013, Larry Page, co-founder of Google, used $750 million from Google to create Calico, a company that's focused on trying to prevent aging. The other founder of Google, Sergey Brin, has donated more than $150 million toward researchers who are looking at how to use big data to better understand DNA and help prevent diseases. Billionaire David Murdoch, who's 96, has spent millions of dollars funding research on increasing life longevity, and he's also built the California Health and Longevity Institute. He plans on living to be at least 125. The lesson. So what lesson can we take from Peter Thiel and the others he's helped to inspire? Dream big. The bigger you dream, the more critics you're going to have, but don't let them cause you to lose focus. Just 100 years ago, the life expectancy in America was only 47. Back then, people would never dream that people could live to be 100 and beyond. So who's to say what's possible? Imagination and bold ideas drive innovation, so don't be limited by what others say can and cannot be done. And if you're looking for some further inspiration, you should definitely check out Thiel's book, 0 to 1, Subtitled Notes on Startups or How to Build the Future. In this valuable book, Peter guides the reader on how to go about doing something that's never been done before in order to make a mark on the world. He gives deep insights from his rich experience of creating businesses and investing in hugely successful startups. And if you want to hear this powerful message while also saving $21, go to Alux.com/freebook and sign up so you can get the audiobook version for free, thanks to our partnership with Audible. The quote. While researching Peter's story, we've come across this incredible quote from him we'd like to share with you, and it goes like this. People always say you should live your life as if it were your last day. I think you should live your life as if it will go on forever. That every day is so good, you don't want it to end. That definitely puts things into a different perspective, doesn't it, Aluxers? Question. All this talk about death has us wondering, do you think the benefits of immortality are worth the potential negative consequences? Would you want to live 1,000 years or more? Let us know what you think in the comments. And of course, as a thank you for sticking with us until the end, here's a bonus fact just for you. The oldest verified person who ever lived was Jean Calment, who lived 122 years from 1875 to 1997 in France. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, Alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.